Starting.
Hello everyone. This is two perspectives on how to treat depression. What we're going to do what we're going to do today is we're going to read my paper because I knew my speech would not be good. So now I'm reading it. Okay. It's kind of like with religion, you gain a deeper understanding of who God is. Like the identity behind the one who actually created you. Receiving guidance of God's love better understands the meaning of life. Being the value is in the deepest parts of myself, where kind of like the portal of God lies. Kind of like our body's a temple for the Lord. It's like we have access to Him. Personal growth comes from spiritual health. We gain clarity in uncertain times. When our car crashes, we can be like, this is just God's plan for me. I can go forward. And it's like, if we fear God, the fear of everything else just goes away. And when you don't fear God, the fear of everything else, since God's more powerful than anything else will overcome you and overwhelm you. And you're just going to be a dogfight. Which is kind of a religious perspective. Discover more joyful and delight in life. And by connecting with spiritual aspects of your life, you can experience more joy, more content. You can realize the value of life. And it's like life, we're all going to die. Anything you ever love is going to die. Any object you love is going to die. Everything's going to die. So it's like, kind of, view this as like training camp, which would be like a religious perspective. And, spiritualize everything. There's actually an experiment done. I saw this like on a reel, and I looked more into it. But like when you think about burning a plant in front of the plant's nervous levels like literally goes up when you think about burning the plant. And this could be true and this could be fake, but it was done by scientists, so I believe him. I might be stupid for that. But it's like, if you just spiritualize everything, when you're depressed, think about the fact that you're making the grass depressed as well, and maybe you'll not want to be depressed. So yeah. A more secular way to deal with depression would be through neuroscience and true studying of the brain. And maybe like taking some medicine. Neuroplasticity changes your brain's inner workings and helps the ability to make and change and make new connections. It really helps out your nervous system, because a deregulated nervous system can really screw with you, and it makes you in a flight or fight mode. And I read this book by Patrick Bet-David, and it was called Your Next 5 Moves, and what it said, it was like, and it taught me a lot about neuroscience, saying like, there's like 4 states of where you should go, kind of like states of your brain. And the lowest is survival. Second to lowest is content, like you're just working, flowing through life. Third highest is like you're feeling like purpose, you're feeling meaning, you have reasoning for what you're doing, and you do a couple of extra things on top of, you're better than average. And then the 4th one is enlightenment, when you feel like everything is new to you, when you feel like everything, you're not artificially excited, but you're genuinely excited about tomorrow. Even if it can be small, even if you're fishing cod every single day, every single piece of cod can feel special. It's kind of what neuroplasticity does. Rewires your brain's inner workings to survival to enlightenment. And this can make us view problems where what was bad can be good. And therapists and psychologists are amazing for this. They've been studying for years about how the brain works. It can make your... what's it called again? Can you say it? Can't remember.
The amygdala?
The amygdala. And like the things outside your brain that make your brain from clumpy to more kind of like, you know,
More wrinkled?
wrinkled, yes. And okay, and this makes us not panic in high pressure scenarios, and knowing why we do things. Yeah, and like studying like the dopamine receptor too can like cause a lot of like if you just master that, maybe stop going in like your bad habits, and like knowing how to like overcome things like addiction can especially help you with happiness. And like you kind of are your brain a little bit, even like how as much as like our own egos say we might not be, but we really are. And like psychologists help us with that. This is my really elaborated paper. I'll start with the religious ways. You can go to church, you know, find a community, and like, you know, maybe get into like I forget, catechism or like a seminar or something like that. I mean, I don't know who wants to do that. I'll just be honest. Prayer and like meditation too can really help with like stabilizing the mind and like making it so it's not so bumpy. Submission, thinking completely just like it's destroying your own ego and destroying like kind of yourself as like not a human being, but like as as its own identity, and have like your identity be with like someone serving like the empire of heaven. And then like discipline, like saying the things you're gonna do. Spiritual guidance, like talk to a priest. Priest probably knows a lot of stuff. Or like just, you know, somebody in your church. Like somebody you like knows genuinely wise. This is probably like the hardest part about spiritual guidance. Like like you have to have a lot of like balls to do that, and they're probably very hard to find. Discipline, bypass the depression. I mean, writing this doesn't make any sense, and I understand that, but you know, if you really just lock in and say depression's not really real, which is like, you know, very like, you know, alpha male, like red pill kind of way to view it. But if you genuinely think depression doesn't exist, your brain kind of listens to that, because your brain validates the thing. This is kind of more of a, like, secular and religious people can't agree with this, but if you don't believe in depression, you can, like, your brain validates what you say. And then, like, yeah, scripture and meditation, like, especially, like, the book of Proverbs is, like, definitely, like, Psalms 2 is very good for, like, depression. And, like, because it talks about people who are in the lowest states of their lives. Like, especially the book of Job as well. Rely on community. I think I kind of talked about that with church. And the idea, the debate against secularism would be, if there's no religion, there's no real reason to live. And it's kind of like the only question you should ask is like, why shouldn't I kill myself? Because there's just no reason to live. And like that kind of puts you into a dogfight with things you don't understand. Doesn't fulfill a higher meaning, but it numbs the pain. Secular treatment of depression, social work. Oh, dude, like just helping out your community, like helping out the homeless people is amazing. Like, I heard like a saying where it's like, you might not be able to change the price of Bitcoin, but you can give an old lady groceries. And it's like, that's so true, because it might not change the price of Bitcoin, but the old lady will feel happy, and therefore you'll feel happy. And maybe you'll think it's not about yourself, but about the other person. Which definitely, like, a lot of secular people like I know do think like that. Medicine, like, you know, like, I don't know much about medicine. I'm not educated on this topic, but like, taking like what's it called? Nicotine packets can help a lot, which I don't know if that's true or not. or like, you know, smoking weed. I don't know. Like, yeah, some people do take antidepressants, which I don't find that too good, but I'm not educated on the topic. Therapy can help. Yeah, there's some like really good therapists, and like honestly, not even a therapist, you're just going to a friend and being like, these are all my problems, and an outside perspective can be super helpful, because when somebody's talking about their problems, we always feel like we know the solutions, and like a third person perspective is so good. I don't know how to explain it, but it's definitely far better than I can put into words. Science, like neuroscience, is amazing. Like genuinely learning how the brain works in your own neuroscience, and like why you do the things you do, and hijacking, like hacking your brain into productivity or whatever you want to do, like getting yourself out of a pit of despair and like seeing it as happy, kind of like Napoleon, who he was I'm not sure if he was an atheist, but he was definitely way more secular, and he had like this worldview where he viewed every single problem, he hacked his brain to view every single problem by doing things throughout his day, like, you know, fixing things immediately, or spending hours upon hours on horseback, doing things throughout the day, hacking his brain into viewing problems as a good thing. And, yeah, backing it through evidence, like seeing what other people did, seeing statistics and what actually stopped depression. And yeah, it's your brain chemistry. If you take therapy for your brain, like that's best thing you can do. Therapy, CBT. Cognitiveness is CBT. A complicated word, I know. My brain just kind of rebooted itself using these methods, but it's kind of like seeing a dog out of the window and being like, the dog's barking. And some people, when they see a dog, they're like, that's scary, it's a dog, it's running at me, and it's looking at me weird, and it's drooling. And then CBT, BT is being like, it's fine, the dog is not going to kill me. Even if he were to attack me, I could probably beat him up anyway. And, like, it's not panicking when you see a dog. And then DPT is dialect, and that's what D stands for. And it's kind of like you talking and be like, hi, my name is Lee, and not getting nervous. And you know, like, a lot of guys definitely struggle this when talking to girls, you know, they're very nervous. And then DPT would probably be like not absolutely shitting yourself when you talk to a girl. For guys, and maybe for girls, it's I really don't know. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. I could assume I know, but I don't. Community resources, like social work, like court mandate therapy, and like you could go into counseling, or maybe you can get a counselor. And there's so much like social working programs nowadays, you know. Or even like if you just want to do a side quest, you can just go to a hotel and compliment everyone at the front desk, and anyone who comes in, you could just compliment them or do magic tricks, and you know, just genuinely make everyone's day better. Which I know a lot of like secular people definitely do that, and religion can be corrupted. There can be corruption in the church, and it can be used to exploit people, and this is like backed by proof. Like, people have been like in school learning for many years about like learning for 3 to 4 years just about the problem that you're facing. So it's like evident, backed by proof. And like, yeah, religion can be corrupted, has been corrupted throughout history, and yeah, it's like kind of like new. And the appealing thing about secularism might be it's new, never been tried before.